Alright, so this is inside the cab. It's not its complete configuration, it's still kind of bodged together a little bit. But I'll show you what's going on. I've got a bit of a torch here because it's a bit sharp. So you just it's basically a normal computer. If you're not familiar with looking inside computers, it might be confusing, but it's basically Lego. It's very easy. Lego with wires. So down here, you've got this normal hard disk, and the 18 music like a boss coming out the fucking tiny little speaker there, which I've hooked up to a little amplifier here. You can turn it up. I'll give you a bit of the Yep, there you go. So it's got a little volume control in there, and you can control the volume from the front end as well. There's the coin mech, the back end of the coin mechanism, which the coins will eventually fall down into a Pringles can I have, which will work pretty well, I think. That's the motherboard. Little fan here, just sitting there at the moment. It's not attached to anything, just to keep the main chipset driver. And of course the monitor, which happen to fit very, very nicely. I've got a little piece of wood across here, which I've got little brackets that fit onto the side of the cabinet, and a couple of screws go into the Visa mounts in the back of the monitor, plus a couple of these little L brackets which screw into the motherboard, screw through the holes in the motherboard, and it works beautifully. I've got a couple of little brackets here, which are like carpentry brackets that just fit straight onto the hard disk, and everything works pretty beautifully. I think that's about all. You can see that's the inside of the up there. It's my hand. It's the handles is the word I'm looking for. Handles. Okay. Before I blather any more about the inside of the cab, let's visit the underneath of the control panel. Okay, welcome to the space directly under my desk. It was too much of a pain in your house to flip the cabinet up, so you're getting the bottom end view here, so to speak. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song. Let's bust it. Okay, so here you can see a bit of the copper spaghetti. This thing here, as you can see, that's the joystick. So you can see it hits 4 micro switches there. So that's back right. So it just hits 2. Yeah. So you kind of get a bit of an idea of how that works. These yellows, so they're the yellows. He says grabbing a green wire. That one there. There are the grounds. So this thing here. That thing there, which I'm putting my fingers under, I'm probably going to electrocute myself any minute here. That's called an IPAC, IPAC. And what it is, it's a keyboard encoder. So it basically acts like a keyboard. So as you can see, it's got. So I'm doing this. I'm not actually looking, and it's all mirrored here. There's a USB plug here, which goes into the back of the computer. Just plugs in like a normal keyboard would. And you plug those little micro switches, these micro switches on the bottom of the buttons. You plug this top one here, put a wire into that, leading into a wire in there, and it says things like player 1 button, player 1 button, 2 button, 3 button, 4 button, 5 button, 6 button, and like player 1 up, player start, all that kind of stuff. So it's really simple. You hook it. These things cost about $50. And it's so worth it. It saves you a lot of screwing around with a keyboard. Actually, like tearing a keyboard apart and putting it onto a keyboard. So these are the player buttons. As you can see, there's a lot of friggin' wires that have to go in and out of them because of there's like 2 extra wires for each one in this cabinet opposed to the last cabinet I did, because I have to power them. So you needed the ground and the positive on that. And now the player 1, 2 start buttons plus the pause button. I think that's basically all you really need to know about the thing. And if you have any questions about wiring or anything, if you're looking at this, you're not a friend of mine, you're looking at this actually for information about making a Mame cabinet, which you could quite be, shoot me off an email at allbunsglazing.com, allbunsglazing@gmail.com. That's allbunsglazing. If you have any questions about the wiring. Okay. So, just to wrap up, I'm going to cut the top of my head off. I'll slouch. There we go. So just to wrap up, I've got a couple of notes here, what things I wanted to say. How much it cost, that's right. I'm not exactly sure how much this one cost. I guess it probably runs up to about, if you're making it yourself from scratch, probably about $600 will get you there, plus about a month's labour. The labour is a big thing, and it takes a long time to do everything because you have to think it through. It took me about, for this design, it took me about 2 weeks to get, or maybe a solid week, maybe a week and a half, to get a proper 3D model of what I wanted. I've been using the free software, free to a degree, free software called Google SketchUp. SketchUp, it's like it's not a drafting program per se, but it's as close as you're going to get, kind of like CAD for dummies. It's a 3D modeling program, and you can like basically create everything you're going to do in a 3D model, so you know how everything's going to work. Like I'll model these buttons, and I model like the coin mech, most importantly the monitor, because everything's built around the monitor, so you need to know the exact specifications of your monitor, so you measure the shit out of it and build it all up in this SketchUp. And once you know, then you'll know how everything's going to fit together, because then you make like a big bit of MDF, 16mm thick, you know, and then just start cutting and making sure it's all looks good, and then you can see if it actually looks good as well, like whether you're designing your head is actually going to work and look good in this virtual environment. And it's helped me a lot. It's the last cabinet I did for Chris, that was the first time I've used Google SketchUp, and I'll never build anything again unless I've given it a SketchUp. It's so much easier, it takes the guesswork out. I can't say enough good stuff about first modelling it up in a 3D environment. What I need to do, this paint here, from when I was painting the bottom of this, you can see a little bit of the white paint, so I need to just mask that off and coat this. But that's about it. I'm going to take you out. I'm playing a bit of a game here. You've probably heard of it. I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of this one. You've got the old testing screen there. There we go. I'm going to turn it up a little bit just in case you can't hear it, and just in case my wife doesn't want to divorce me enough as it is already. Where's the thing? There it is. There we go. Hope you can hear that. Yep, anyway, it's weird playing this angle. Ah! There you go. I'm done. Alright, if you have any questions, ask me, I guess. Alright, see ya.